Hello guys, welcome to the second day of Bitcoin Nairobi Circular Economies Curriculum. So day 2 will be discussing about the gold standard. What is the gold standard? So the gold standard is a monetary system in which a country currency is directly tied to a fixed quantity of gold. That means each unit of money like a dollar or a shilling is represented as a certain amount of gold. People could exchange their paper money for physical gold at the official rate. Governments and central bank had to hold large reserves of gold to back their money supply. Example, under the classical gold standard, which ranged from 1870s to 1914, $1 was defined as 23.22 grains of pure gold, which is about 1/20 of an ounce today. So the gold standard was used to bring stability, trust, and predictability to money since the supply of gold was limited and couldn't be created at will like fiat money today. So when was it used? The gold standard was used at different times in history, mainly from the 19th to the mid-20th century. Here is the timeline. Number 1, a classical gold standard, which was 1870s to 1914. So many major economies like the Britain, USA, Germany, France, they adopted it. Each currency was fixed to gold, making international trade more stable. Number 2, when the gold standard was used was during the interwar gold exchange standard, which is 1919 to 1939. After World War I, countries tried to return the gold to gold, but modified the system. Not every country held gold directly. Some held reserves in currencies like the British pound or US dollar, which was convertible into gold. It collapsed during the Great Depression as countries abandoned it to print more money. So number 3, when the gold standard was also used, is the Bretton Woods system, 1944 to 1971. After World War II, the US dollar was pegged to gold at 35 ounces per dollar, and other countries pegged their currencies to the dollar. This made the US dollar the world reserve currency. Ended in 1971 when President Richard Nixon closed the gold window, making the dollar no longer convertible to gold. So what were the reasons why the gold standard ended? The gold standard ended mainly because it could not keep up with the demands of growing economies and modern financial system. Here are the main reasons. Number 1, limited supply of gold. Economic growth required more money in circulation, but gold supply grew too slowly. This caused deflation, which is falling in prices, and restricted trade and investment. Number 2, where it ended is wars and crises. During World War I and World War II, countries needed to print more money to fund war expenses, so they suspended the gold standard. The Great Depression in 1930s made things worse as sticking to gold made recovery harder. Number 3, loss of trust in fixed exchange rates. Under Bretton Woods, the US promised to convert dollars into gold at $35 per ounce. But as the United States printed more dollars, especially in the 1960s for the Vietnam War and the welfare program, other countries doubted the US had enough gold to back them. Number 4, speculation and pressure on the dollar. Countries started demanding gold in exchange for the dollar reserve. US gold reserve fell sharply. Nixon's shock in 1971. On August 15, 1971, US President Richard Nixon ended the direct convertibility of the dollar to gold. This marked the official end of the gold standard and the start of the fiat money era. So this ended the representative money, and that's when fiat money now came into action, and the government now started printing money out of thin air. So they had no gold to back the money that they were printing, and that's when fiat money was introduced. That's when the problems of mankind was introduced. Let's get into it. So topic 2, digital money. So when was digital money invented? So the first idea was in 1920s in the US, when stores gave charge cards to shop and pay later. The first modern credit card was in 1950, where Diners Club card used for restaurants and travel. Also, we have in 1958 when the bank issued credit card. The Bank of America launched the Bank Americard, later became Visa. Okay, that's when we first invented the digital money. So number 2, online payments were early stage. The early stage of online payments started with growth of the internet in the 1990s. So the milestone was PayPal launched in 1998, becoming one of the first and most successful online payment system. Now many payments exist to facilitate online payments. An example of platforms that exist is Stripe, Wise, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and different others. So number 3, we have the mobile money. The first mobile money services were in the early 2000s. In the Philippines, we had the smart money, which is a service provider in the Philippines. We also have the GCash. And also we have a major milestones as Kenyans. Actually, in the history of mobile money or digital money, Kenyans, we have a very great milestone, which is the launch of M-PESA in 2007, which is the most successful mobile money system in the world. That's M-PESA, the most successful mobile money system in the world is M-PESA. So how do digital money work? So we can start first of all with credit cards. So a bank issues a credit card without a spending limit. When you swipe, tap, or enter card details online, the bank pays the merchants on your behalf. You then repay the bank later, either the full balance or installment with interest. It also uses cards network, Visa. So the credit cards, they uses the card networks such as Visa, MasterCard, or American Express to process transactions securely. So number 2, online payments. So you connect your bank account, card, or digital wallet to an online payment platform, e.g. PayPal or Stripe. When you buy something online, the payment gateway encrypts your information and sends it to your bank. The bank authorizes the transaction and the money is transferred to the seller. Works through the internet and requires secure authentication, e.g. passwords, OTPs, or biometric. So let us now go into the mobile money. How does the mobile money work? So you deposit cash at an agent. It is converted into electronic money, which is stored on your phone wallet. You can send the money, pay bills, or withdraw cash via SMS, USSD code, or apps. Each transaction is confirmed instantly by a text message. Example, M-PESA. You dial a code, enter the recipient number and amount, then confirm PIN. So what are the benefits of the digital money? So we can start with credit cards. What are the benefits of credit cards? Number 1, they are convenient. There is no need to carry cash around. You can buy now and pay later with credit card. You can access short-term credit. and also it's globally accepted. It's used worldwide for travel, hotels, and shoppings. Most tourists actually use credit cards when they're traveling. Also, rewards and cashbacks. There's that feature when you use your credit card more, the bank gives you some loyalty points, as you know. So many cards offer points or discounts. Also builds a credit history, helps to qualify for future loans. So if you go to a bank, they check how you spend your money or using the credit cards, and they actually see if you qualify for loans. That's how the credit card works, or the advantages. So what are the advantages of online payments? Number one, payments are instant or near instant transaction, so it's very fast. So it also enables online shopping and global trade. So there is that concept of e-commerce growth. Also, it's very secure. It works with encrypted systems, reducing the theft risk compared to carrying cash. Also, anyone in the internet can send and receive money, so it's very accessible, and also has a very nice record keeping feature where automatic receipt and transaction histories can be able to be seen online. So what are the advantages of mobile money? For mobile money, there is a financial inclusion where people who are unbanked, like people, let's say, who are in poverty prone areas, or slums like that, they can be now included into banking. Also enables easy transfers where you can send money instantly even across rural areas. You can pay utilities, school fees, or shop directly from the phone, and reduces the need to carry cash with you to having protected pins for your mobile money. Also creates jobs for the agents and increase trade efficiency. Like I can count the number of agents M-PESA has our Safaricom has employed using M-PESA as a mobile money. So it really changed the game. So let's now look deep into mobile money, into M-PESA as a case study. So why is M-PESA successful in Kenya? Number one, it's high mobile phone penetration. By the mid-2000s, most Kenyans had access to basic mobile phone, even in rural areas, making mobile money widely accessible. Number two, limited access to banks. Before M-PESA, a large portion of the population was unbanked, especially in rural areas where banks were scarce. M-PESA offered financial services without needing a bank account. So basically, the whole infrastructure that a bank had to set up, having even police officers, it was like all wiped away, and now the only thing that people needed is just a small shop or a kiosk, and they say, I'm an M-PESA agent. So that's how M-PESA changed the game of banking. Alright, it's now made people who are in the rural areas to be able to have a bank just by going to the agent and registering the bank account and receiving money or remittances from people who are in the cities now to the rural areas. So number three, why it was successful is their strong agent network. So Safaricom, the telecom company behind the M-PESA, built an extensive network of agents in both urban and rural areas, making cash in and cash out easy. Also, trust in Safaricom. Safaricom was already the dominant telecom operator in Kenya, and people trusted it with their money. So that's also another thing that facilitated the success of Safaricom. And also it was very easy to use. The system was simple, it was SMS based, and did not require internet or smartphones. It was perfect for the Kenyan context in 2007. Also, it had a real need sending money home. Many Kenyans in the city, due to the rural to urban migration, needed to send money back home, and they needed a very safe way to send money, since when you are working in Nairobi, let's say in 2007, and you want to send your money back in Ushago, let's say in Naivasha, the only way was to send cash, which or carry cash yourself, which was very unsafe. Maybe you could be mugged, you're carrying, let's say, 10,000 or 20,000, you could be mugged and your cash is stolen. But now M-PESA, now with the agent networks, you just go to your to an agent, you deposit the money there, the money is sent, is converted into electronic cash and now sent to another agent, and the other agent now, people can, it's sent to the phone number for the person you want to receive that money in Ushago, and then the person gets to an agent, they deposit the money to the agent, and then the agent keeps them cash. So that's how basically it worked. So number two, government regulations and support. So the Central Bank of Kenya supported M-PESA's growth by allowing innovation to run ahead of strict regulation in its early days. So M-PESA didn't have very strict regulations, and so government support actually helped M-PESA scale. And also number eight, security over cash. Carrying cash was very risky due to theft and loss. Mobile money provided a safer alternative. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of M-PESA? So we'll start with the advantages first. Number one, financial inclusion. It brought millions of unbanked Kenyans into the financial system. It was very convenient. It was easy to send or receive money anywhere in Kenya using just a phone. It was cheaper than banks or informal money transfer methods. Also it worked on basic phones, which is the SMS or USSD, so there was no need of internet access. Also, wide agent network. Thousands of agents in villages and towns made cash in and cash out very easy. So that is one advantage of M-PESA. For you to cash out, even right now where we are at our studios, you can just be able to go down and cash out at an agent. So it's safer than carrying physical cash, reducing theft risk. Also, it enabled small businesses to grow, savings group and microloans. Also, they had a quick way to send support. It was a very quick way to send support, maybe for medical fees, for school fees, for drought relief. So it was a very nice way to send support. Also, it was operated by a company that we all trust, Safaricom, a trusted telecom giant. And also another advantage, it paved the way for mobile banking and lending apps and fintech startups. So what are the disadvantages of now Safaricom? And when we talk about the disadvantage of M-PESA, we are talking about in comparison to Bitcoin. So transaction fees are very high in M-PESA or in this payment system. So even small transfer attract charges which affect the poor. So like right now we have seen that for you to transact, let's say even 100 bob, how much does it cost, Waitaka?
100 bob right now it costs 11 shillings.
11 shillings, you see, that's a lot. That's a lot. It's even more than 10%. Yeah.
Now so, that goes without not saying that we're in the 2025.
Yeah.
You can fast forward to 2040 and 2030, what will be happening?
Mm-hmm. So we have given too much power to Safaricom through M-PESA. M-PESA has given Safaricom too much power. They can impose transaction fees any amount that they want, since they are the monopoly.
But
Number
the
two,
monopoly sets the price.
yeah, they decide the price. You have to follow since there is no other option. Okay. Number two, it requires Safaricom's network coverage. Outage can block outages can block transactions. So for you to be able to transact using M-PESA, you have to have a network coverage from Safaricom. If Safaricom is not working, the transaction is blocked. Or if there is a problem with Safaricom, the transaction is blocked, so you can't transact. So also there have been frauds and scams on M-PESA using social engineering, e.g. Fake messages and agent fraud risks also exist. You can find an agent who can be a scammer who scams your money. Also, there's limited international use. M-PESA is a very nice model. We have seen it work for Kenyans, but it's mostly used domestically. Cross-border transactions are still not there for M-PESA. So we want money. Bitcoin is something that you can be able to. It's actually an M-PESA that doesn't have a Safaricom. So this problem of international use, there's no such problem in Bitcoin. Also, it's still heavily dependent on cash, which is fiat money, like we said. Still heavily reliant on agents cash in and cash out. Also, regulatory risk, over reliance on one company raises monopoly and policy concerns. So we might want to change a certain policy in fintech, but since Safaricom is like the monopoly, you might find that they might reject that. Yeah. So digital divide, older or less literate people may struggle to use M-PESA. Also, there's the debt risk. Integration with mobile loans has led some users into debt traps. That's why the M-PESA really led people to debt traps, especially with the integration with most lending apps. You see Tala, Zenka, all these lending apps. Most people have been kept into debt traps where they have to pay debts. And like the Bible says, owe no man anything. So it's very crazy how even M-PESA or Safaricom have been able to like everything about loaning from Fuliza, M-Shwari, M-Kopa, all these are loans and they're keeping people into the debt trap. Okay, so how different from Bitcoin? So we'll look at 21 differences between M-PESA and Bitcoin. So number one, let's start with ownership. So M-PESA funds belongs to Safaricom accounts and Bitcoin belongs fully to whoever holds the private keys. So M-PESA, in M-PESA it means that Safaricom can be able to lock your account. Let's say they suspect that maybe you stole the funds or maybe you received the funds incorrectly. They were not meant for you. That's why there is a feature when you send money to someone, you can be able to call Safaricom to reverse the transaction. So this means that Safaricom actually holds the funds to your M-PESA. Okay, but in Bitcoin, nobody owns those funds. It's only you, the owner of the private key, who owns the funds. And that's why we always encourage people to own their private key and have hardware wallets. Like an example of a hardware wallet, the best hardware wallet is Blockstream Jade hardware wallet. This one, with the Blockstream Jade hardware wallet, you can be able to generate your private keys. Unlike M-PESA, where your private key belongs to Safaricom, since they're the one who actually hold the accounts of your M-PESA app. The Blockstream Jade, you get to own fully the accounts. the private keys, which actually holds the public key or generates the public key where your Bitcoin is sent or stored. Okay, so have a blockstream jade and get sovereign. So number 2, difference between M-PESA and Bitcoin. Centralization. M-PESA is centralized under Safaricom. Bitcoin is decentralized with no single authority. So Bitcoin is very decentralized. Bitcoin is very decentralized and there's no single authority that is controlling Bitcoin. So anyone in the world, anywhere you are, either you're in Philippines, either you're in Brazil, either you're in UK, US, nobody controls your Bitcoin. Also number 3, the currency type. M-PESA uses the Kenyan shillings, which is the fiat, but Bitcoin is its own digital currency. Bitcoin is a digital currency that is global. It's not linked to fiat, right? So in terms of supply, as you know, fiat can be printed, and that is what M-PESA is using. M-PESA is using a supply that is unlimited. Okay, so it's infinite over 21 million. So there's this endless money printer. They are printing money out of thin air. But for Bitcoin, it's only 21 million coins. So that's another difference. Number 5, about regulation. M-PESA is regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya. Bitcoin is governed by code and global consensus. So nobody controls Bitcoin, but M-PESA is controlled by the central bank. So there's that concept of decentralization. So Bitcoin is only controlled by the code and the global consensus, of which is the majority of nodes who are running the Bitcoin code. So the trust model. M-PESA requires trust in Safaricom. Bitcoin requires trust in math and cryptography. So when we say M-PESA requires trust in Safaricom, we are saying that M-PESA requires trust in human beings. And like you know, human beings cannot be trusted. But it's very hard to trust a human being that he will deliver what he actually promised. So rather, instead of trusting a human being or a central authority, we now trust in math, because when we trust in math, it means that it's actually the real thing. In mathematics, if 1 plus 1 is encoded as 11, that will always be like that, okay, because that is mathematics, right? But in M-PESA case, we have to trust in human beings. So number 7, accessibility. M-PESA requires Safaricom SIM and coverage, but Bitcoin works globally with internet access. The internet is everywhere. Any country you go, there's the internet. Right now, we even have internet that doesn't use the C cables, which is Starlink. Okay, so the internet is everywhere, meaning Bitcoin is accessible in any corner of the world. Also, cross-border use. M-PESA is mostly used locally, or let's say even locally only. It's used only locally, but Bitcoin is borderless. Number 9, transaction speed. M-PESA transactions are near instant within Kenya, but Bitcoin-based layer may take minutes, which is the Bitcoin on-chain transaction, but on Lightning, which is the layer 2, it enables instant transactions globally, not only in Kenya. So number 10, the transaction cost. M-PESA charges fixed fees per transaction, but Bitcoin fees vary but can be near free on Lightning. Intermediaries, that's 11. M-PESA depends on agents for cash in and cash out. Bitcoin eliminates intermediaries. So number 11, M-PESA depends on agents for cash in and cash out. And Bitcoin eliminates these intermediaries. So for Bitcoin, you just have peer-to-peer transactions. So number 12, resilience. M-PESA can shut down if Safaricom or regulators stop it. When we talk about regulators of Safaricom, is CBK. If CBK stops M-PESA, it means that now you cannot be able to move money. So Bitcoin cannot be shut down because it's global, number one, and it's decentralized. There's no single point of attack. The reason why M-PESA can be attacked is because there is a single point of authority, that is Safaricom. But Bitcoin, the Safaricom model is spread across everyone who is using Bitcoin. Okay. So transparency. M-PESA ledger is private. Only Safaricom sees it, but Bitcoin ledger is public on the blockchain. Right. So security, M-PESA is vulnerable to SIM swap, fraud, or insider manipulation. And in Bitcoin, security comes from cryptography and proof of work. Proof of work, we say, is miners. Inflation, M-PESA is tied to the Kenyan shilling, which loses value over time due to more money printing, but Bitcoin is deflationary in design. So there will only be 21 million coins in existence. So there's no inflation of the currency. So global acceptance, number 16. M-PESA works mainly in Kenya with a few regional extensions like Ethiopia. We have M-PESA in Ethiopia. And Bitcoin is accepted worldwide. So that's the one thing that M-PESA will never achieve. M-PESA might not even be in, let's say, even in Algeria or Morocco, but Bitcoin will very easily be in Morocco or Algeria, since it's decentralized. Innovation platform, M-PESA inspired fintech in Africa. I can say that confidently because you see in Africa the other competitor is Airtel Money and also Momo, which is for MTN. But M-PESA is a very, very solid mobile money network. So it's a crazy invention. But Bitcoin inspired a new internet of money worldwide. So M-PESA just inspired the fintech, but Bitcoin inspired internet of money. So backup and recovery. M-PESA accounts depend on Safaricom recovery policies. Bitcoin depends on seed phrase stroke keys. So if you have your keys or if you have the private keys, you can be able to recover your account. But for you to recover the M-PESA account, you need Safaricom recovery policies, which requires your ID card and stuff like that, your statement, yeah. So dependence on government, M-PESA can be shut down by government order. Bitcoin runs beyond government control. 20, it's privacy. M-PESA requires full KYC, identity linked KYC. That is, you either need a passport or a ID card. But Bitcoin can be spent anonymously. So number 21, philosophy. M-PESA solves local access to money. Bitcoin solves global freedom of money. So those are the differences between Bitcoin and M-PESA. So let us now get into the class activity. The class activity, you will be required to do a group debate comparing M-PESA versus Bitcoin. The assignment of today will be to define the gold standard. Number 2, list 3 differences between Bitcoin and M-PESA. Number 3, how many times did we have the gold standard in USA? Is it 21 times? Is it 2 times? Is it 3 times? Is it 1 time? Or is it 1 term?